match my energy. I no get time for no enemy. To the paper, to me. Nothing with person never see. I'm nothing with person never see. Forget it, I say bashi. Money soon expect. Take our body agent. I take her to the person. I'm in the answer, yes, sir. Then I'm in the answer, yes, sir. Respect is reciprocal, even though I know that's special. Anybody, we no want to search it. Anybody, we no the I can't sort it, I can't sort it.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Brekky In The Cave, my friends. This one sounds like the Max Dean wicked remix of Anybody by Burna Boy. I think I might just about be able to get away with playing this one on YouTube and not get shut down. Always finding remixes, man. It's always the way. Might write an article about the art of a good remix. I need a little light bulb emoji. Light bulb emoji I can just put there so it just goes bing whenever I get an idea. Got a wicked show on the way. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked.
Even though I know that's special. Anybody, we no want to search it. Anybody, we know the body body. Anybody, we no want to search it. Anybody, we know the body body. Anybody, we no want to search it.
Right then, good morning, my friends. It's Brekky In The Cave. Thank you for joining us nice and early. 10 o'clock till 11:30. Been running the show for a few weeks now as a temporary placeholder for Breakfast with Kovu over on Trickstar Radio. Normally, that's a show I run 7 till 10, but for the time being, we are running it here as obviously we're not able to get into the studio due to quite obvious circumstances at this point. So the point in this show, keep people entertained in the morning. That's the general plan, the general vibe of what we're doing. So we're going to be playing bangers just like this one. As I said before, this one, the Max Dean edit of Anybody by Burna Boy. As well as that, we're going to be looking into loads of different bits of news. I'm going to keep up our continuous looking into the Good News live blog. Sorry, really good place to find useful information, enjoyable information, and information that will cheer us up about what's going on in the music industry. A little like it's full of fundraisers. It's full of little useful bits of news, freebies that are being dropped left, right, and centre. Just loads of good stuff, and it shows a lot of the good nature of people with what's going on at the moment. So there we go. That one there coming from Max Dean, wicked edit of Anybody, which was probably my favourite tune of last year. So to finally have a remix of it I can play is very exciting indeed. So we've got loads of new music to play as well today. I think yesterday was pretty much promo day. My inbox is absolutely bulging. We've got new ones from Manga off his brand new album, which did drop at the weekend. We've got new ones from the Prototypes. There's new Junior Reid. There's new Red Eye Hi-Fi as well. Got a couple of clips off the new Flowdown album as well. Did get that sent over via Juno download yesterday. There's new Tanya Stevens. Of course, new Tiana Blake, which we've been running. There's new Ghost and President T as well at the new Strictly Flavor release, which does come out this Friday with a wicked collaboration. Ian Campbell, John Steele, and Natasha Burnett on that one. So there we go. Loads of good flavours all on the way. News-wise, we're going to be looking into a brand new interactive recording app, which we're going to be putting out there, which is pretty much a look at how it's a similar style to House Party, but it's built around musicians collaborating, which should be interesting. As well as that, we're going to be looking into how you can support local record shops, which ones are still operating, and how you can buy music from them without actually having to go into the stores. As well as that, we're going to be looking at the best fitness games of 2020, because apparently there's been a list released of the best fitness games you can play, which means we don't have to leave our houses, which is very useful for the current timing, very useful for the current climate indeed. So, what should we do? What should we kick off with? I think we're going to kick off with this one, coming from Tanya Stevens, again, and a reggae artist that I feel didn't really get as much of a pop as she should have when she first appeared, but she's still floating around doing bits. This one is 18 Carat. It's just gone 6 minutes past 10 here. We are live on Brekky In The Cave on the Cubcam YouTube channel. If it's your first time watching, please do hit that subscribe button, hit the favourite button as well, leave a little comment, let us know how you're feeling. These are unsociable times, so please let's keep them as sociable as possible via this wonderful device we call the interwebs. Don't go anywhere. Brekky In The Cave. Bang.
Me want less for the spring, kill less for the summer. Every girl a rock a certain amount of gum, but summer we come. That girl a good like oh. I'ma go with me 18 karat hole. Wine from me man oh. And girl love the 18 karat hole. Full up a mouth suck and show. And go on with me 18 karat hole. Boom flick on the pole. And girl love the 18 karat hole. Man invest in a the gold cause it's safer than money. Fort Knox kind of above, 20 man can't done it. In a Maserati or in a Nissan Sunny, I know nothing funny. From a like him a bunny. I when the kitty favor turn over slow. And the bottom of my back, I burn off on the rug army. Out a door and kneel down, pan couple bob overdose. Yeah, that's my drug. Good life, go. I'ma go with me 18 karat hole. Wine from me man, go. Him love off me 18 karat hole. Full up a muscle and show. And you love the 18 karat hole. Boom flick on the pole, girl. How would you 18 karat hole, girl? Some little fabric crapses. Go on like them want shut down my synapses. Since upon your top, me a catch this. Tell them, but them lashes. Well, them not control the switch to the current in a me brain. And them not come through me nostril, not run through me vein. Me no know why them able. When me take the cane, when they beat me, they must feel pain. But me good like oh. I'ma go with me 18 karat hole. Wine from me man oh. I go on with me 18 karat hole.
Sounds of Tanya Stevens on this one. 18 Carat, brand new from her. That's what I'm talking about. Wavy flavours on this one. Fresh reggae music here this morning. Dancehall vibes all the way through.
Let's for the spring, kill, let's for the summer. Girl touch the street and a hunt for your bunna. Every girl a rock a certain amount of gum, but summer we come. Talk little louder. Make them know I no crime for honey, girl. I'll run long after carnival. So if you feel inspired for juke, you go juke. Cause you're good from the day you're born, me girl. Me will a man and make him rock in it. I make him go and hustle up and put him back in it. Nothing making on me back, ginseng the pun spot from the day Tanya born, never flop in it. Hey, me stop worry from me see enough man there. You know me love them when them have insomnia. Up all night till the morning light. And if me wine too strong, then me give them the sangria. Make me rock now, make me dip now. Glide me a glide with your one for me hip now. Pull it back now, now make me slip now. Guide the missile, no sink the friendship now. Don't wait to wine to the lonely and needy. The brother soon come back, so don't breathe it. You don't have to worry when you are wine on the road, boy, you can't done it. Cause it good like gold. You know we good like gold. You know we good like gold. 18 karat gold. We good like gold. I'ma go with me 18 karat gold. Wine from me man gold.
Excellent stuff there from Tanya Stevens. That's what I'm talking about. Just got 10 past 10 here. It is Tuesday morning. How's everyone's Monday? I had quite a good Monday, to be honest with you. It was a day that I thought was going to be very, very difficult because we did have new internet being delivered. I don't know, dispatched. That's the word. Yeah, we had a new internet connection after about 4 years, I think it was, of having a dreadful internet connection that basically meant whenever I uploaded a file, the entire internet would cut out. I finally have internet that I can do multiple things with. It's 5 times as strong as the last one. You have no idea how happy I am. Also kind of hammers home the point of how important a good internet connection is for a creative these days. It is quite mad that you have to rely so much on the internet. Although I am very much of the opinion that when people say, "Oh, you're so addicted to technology," yes, fully am. I'm not going to say I'm not, because it's not like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be addicted to technology, and I stand by that quite strongly, as you can tell. Getting a little bit wound up about that one. But yeah, finally have a decent internet connection, which basically means the content for this channel is only going to grow and grow and grow. There's loads of new bits we're going to be putting up. Recorded a couple of new videos yesterday. Going to be putting up a couple of preview videos as well. There's going to be music going up on the channel very, very soon. We're going to be basically using this as a home base to showcase everything we're doing. So there we go. It's going to be a very enjoyable couple of weeks of content. Obviously, we're all still locked inside for the foreseeable future, so I want to make sure we are providing people with as much entertainment as possible. There's new Minecraft videos going up. There's new Third Age videos going up. I think I am going to have to invest in the new Mount and Blade game as well, just because it looks so good. And I think my computer can just about handle it, so I think I'm going to have to invest in the brand new Mount and Blade game. Is it Banner Warrior, Banner Carrier? I'm not too sure. Banner Lord, that's what it's called. But yeah, that's what I'm going to probably invest in today at some point, because I've got a little bit of spare time today after I've done this. But there we go. New music from Tanya Stevens, as I said before, really cool vocalist, always coming out with something fresh, something new, and something different as well. There is always something a little bit unique about what she's doing. I forgot to mention earlier, but we are going to be joined by a man like Michael Goodier today. He's going to be on the phone with us from around past. We're going to be talking about how this current situation has affected him as a journalist. Also going to be looking into his opinions on things. Also probably looking back a little bit as well, looking into his roots, into how he got to where he is now. We did used to work together quite regularly for Soapbox, so it'll be quite cool to revisit that and look over some of the things we did together back in the day. So there we go. Let's get into another absolute banger, shall we? This next one coming from the Prototypes, brand new track from them entitled Oxygen, featuring the sounds of Kudu Blue, Brighton-based singer. You know how we do. We like to keep we like to represent Brighton as much as possible when we are doing these shows, and when I'm doing just supporting in general, man. It's good to support where you're from. I'm a very strong believer in supporting where you are from. If you're from a city that doesn't necessarily have the most popping scene, it's up to you to turn that city into a popping city, in my honest opinion, and I think that's something you have to work towards. Scenes aren't built overnight, you know what I mean? So supporting local artists and local projects, local endeavours is definitely something that I am very much frontlining for. This one, as I said, coming from the Prototypes, Oxygen featuring Kudu Blue, just gone 13 minutes past 10 here. We are live on Brekky In The Cave.
Thinking it over, all the time apart is weighing down on me. Don't wanna fall for another. The reflection of you now is hard to see. Feel the light coming down. Tell me I can breathe again. I can hold on forever. Coming closer now, so I can breathe again. I can breathe. For every moment left under, with all the pressure yet to come, I feel you pulling me right there where I belong. You give me oxygen. You know you give me oxygen. You give me oxygen. Ooh, I feel you pulling me right back where I belong. You know you give me oxygen. Show me what you want now. Tell me what you want now. Pressure in my chest, I can't hold on and on and on forever. Show me what you want now. Tell me what you want now, so I can breathe again. You know you give me oxygen. You give me oxygen.
flavours on that one, coming from the Prototypes. Oxygen featuring Kudu Blue, who's doing some amazing stuff right now. Really cool tune, that one. Just gone 17 minutes past 10 here. It's Cubcam TV. Thank you to all the locked-in crew, everyone hitting that subscribe button this morning. Want to make sure the channel remains continues to grow and continues to put new videos, features, previews, and shows out there. Obviously, we are live from 10 till 11:30 Monday to Friday here on the show, bringing you different guests every single day. Today's guest is going to be very interesting indeed. We're going to be talking to Michael about what this new scenario is meaning for him as a journalist. I did speak to him briefly a couple of days ago via House Party, actually, which was quite interesting. If anyone at the weekend is doing what I'm doing and pretty much just going around on House Party, just randomly going into as many parties as possible, it's quite a fun thing to do, but I don't care. As well, it's the point of the app, in my opinion. Anyway, let's have a look at another app which is making quite a few headlines. It's a new collaborative app which aims to be a house party for music makers. So it's called Endless, and it lets people collaborate on music together from across the world. And basically, it's from the app is designed by artist, producer, and software developer Tim Exile, and lets you start a jam using the inbuilt instruments or an audio input for any real-world sources, and invites others to take part as you go. Once they've joined, they can contribute to the song, and all devices are synced bar for bar to keep everyone in time. You can practice to try out ideas that you can hear. Once you're happy with the riff, you can send it to the group. To celebrate the launch of the app, Kink, Matt Black, Imogen Heap, Flux Pavilion, and more hosted a live jam along with the creator Tim Exile. Keep your eye on the socials for more streams, apparently. This is pretty interesting stuff. This comes from DJ Mag, who have been really, really good in regards to putting new information out there over the last couple of weeks for musicians. I've got to say, DJ Mag, Mix Mag, and there's one other one as well, but I can't remember which one it is, have been doing really, really well when it comes to putting information out there. I've been looking at so much stuff, you know what I mean? There's been so much stuff for me to look at, to enjoy. I've been looking through all the free downloads, all of the free apps that have become available because of the current scenario. And I think there's more than ever now, it's the time to go and look for extra stuff. You can go and download the app for free. Both Logic Pro and Ableton Live are also now free for 90 days. There's new native instrument stuff that's available for free for 90 days as well. So there we go. It's a good time to try and learn something new. As I say every single morning, these are times which we may as well use to the best of our advantage. Coming up next, we're going to jump into a new one from what should we do? Let's do this one. New music from Junior Reid, Vibes Cartel, Anthony B, and Top Secret Music. This one going by the name of Queen Face. Fresh dancehall flavors here on the Breakfast Show. We're going to move into some more UKG stuff, and there's some fresh grimy stuff as well, which we're going to get into in just a bit. Coming up to 20 past 10 here. Hope everyone's having a good morning and enjoying the show so far. Please do leave a comment. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel and give the video a favourite as well.
Say worries when we stepping at the dance tonight. Yes, I know for them no have no chance tonight. Oh, them fit test me at the dance tonight. Worries when we stepping at the dance tonight. Say no for them no have no chance tonight. Oh, them fit test me at the dance tonight. No pass them better, some pass them hotter. Some say them are the upsetter, but we're the trendsetter. All them are one, yes, them are mind over matter. Rasta man a lion, we no afraid of alligator. Pick up a one the shatter, and all tapper. Champagne popper, and all who a follow. Some say them a baller, and them don't have a dollar. Babylon a give them one of them bill to swallow. Him spend the money, me spend the time. Him a joke give, but a me a the joke grind. A him a the liquor, me care the wine. And a him pay the bill, me no pay bill no mind. Him spend the money, me spend the time. Him a joke give, but a me a the joke grind. A him a the liquor, me care the wine. And a him pay the bill, me no pay. Some boy a minister for mining, now the girl no whining. Have the little thing, lick out the tune and out the timing. So come she come check me.
Fresh dancehall flavours here, Brekky In The Cave. We're keeping as up to date with music as possible. That's spare time. Diving into new releases left, right, and centre. Out to the locked in crew. Good to see you all this morning.
Before she arriving, she said you're eating. The last time we kept the meeting, brushing, remember beating, can't stop cheating. Cartel said, stick it in my house, that ain't in my house. Stick it in my house, that ain't in my house. Stick it in my house, that ain't in my house. Well, Can't go a foreign, go tight base. Can't say we bank on at the free base. Immigration say work, so you have to make case. Pack up with the queen face, stack up with the queen face. Can't come a land and come pop down. Every week pound we have to ship down. This are the reason why we left jam down. Pack up with the queen face, stack up with the queen face. Fly from England first class, we fly now. Reach at airport, at least me arriving now. Sitting at the street, X5 me driving now. Me no want no more salt mackerel for my dinner. Alright, me brother get clapped by the barrel. Christmas can't pass without Mama Cyril. Me have Jackie Lynn, Cecil in Avril. Cut out the fuss and the quarrel. That one your name. Can't come a foreign, come time base. Can't see me bank on at the free base. Immigration say work, so me have to make case. Pack up with the queen face, stack up with the queen.
Sounds of Junior Reid, Vibes Cartel, Anthony B, and Top Secret music on that one. Track it up, Queen Face. Fresh dancehall flavours this morning. We've definitely got a kind of push towards dancehall and reggae on this show, primarily because I'm using the opportunity to finally play a lot more dancehall and reggae in the mornings. It just blows my mind that there is no like big scale reggae show that takes place in the mornings. It's what a way to wake up listening to reggae bangers, you know what I mean? Best way to start the day. Out to all the locked in crew, as I've said before, we have finally hit the big hundo subs, which means we can actually officially change the channel to youtube.com/CubCamTV. You're going to be seeing a lot more kind of posters and banners going up over the next few days, which are basically getting people to come to this channel. All of the traffic that I'm getting music-wise, podcast-wise, is sending everyone direct to this channel, so we really want to grow it as much as possible, be it for gaming, be it for music, be it for tutorials. Maybe that's something we might do. We're going to start doing food tutorials soon as well. But yeah, just for breakfast as much as anything else. You know what I mean? I'm trying to build like a standalone platform here, which I think will do very well as we move forward. As we're moving around different things, we are going to be talking to Michael in about 5 minutes or so, but I do want to have a quick look into the Good News live blog, which is a project that Mixmag are putting together, basically listing all of the good bits of news that are happening from around the world of music in one place every single day. So these are the things that happened yesterday. You can check out the South Bank Centre's online culture offering. Of course, the centre is closed until all of this is over, but the good people over there are working hard to make sure you can get a cultural fix online, and you can check out their homepage and blog for more. As well as that, Coyote Records is raising money for the Trussell Trust. You can cop a tea from the Cult UK label and help raise money for food banks across the country. Special designs from Beth Lane are available as well. So there we go. A couple of good bits. That's what we like to see, man. We like to see good people doing good things. So yeah, we're going to jump into a banger next before we get onto the phone with a man like Michael Goodier. This has been one of my favourite tunes to play over the past few weeks. Sounds of Jules Basiswa and Jazz Karis. This one is Soweto Blues, without a doubt the most popular tune that I've played so far, and it's also a tune that I'm going to be playing for a long period of time. It's a wicked vibe, very kind of unique flavours, kind of like post-funky sort of styles to it, and it works really, really well. As I said before, Michael will be on the phone in about 5 minutes or so. I'm literally going to pick up I'm going to ring him in just a second. My phone's right there, as you can see. And yeah, we're going to get on the phone to him, talk about what he's got going on, what he's up to for the rest of the day, and just what his days are looking like on an average basis now. I think it's quite interesting to see how people are kind of creating their days, how people are organising their days, given the current scenario of sort of uncertainty as much as anything else. So let's get into this one, and I'll be back with you very, very soon.
darkness of the world escape your eyes. Give it all away, it ain't meant for your life. Says one to no one. You got issues, baby. You got issues. You got issues, baby. You got issues, we got issues, yeah. Don't wanna talk about it, don't wanna leave without it. Give me a night without it. Don't wanna talk about it, don't wanna leave without it. Give me a night without it. You be like this, so call me when you lonely. You gave me love too hard when you need it. Just say the word and I'll come running to it. You be like this, so call me.
Sounds of Jules Basiswa and Jazz Karis on this one with Soweto Blues. Very much vibing out to this one. Can you give Michael a call?
It's on a Vivi. 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 Don't wanna talk about it, don't wanna leave without it. Give me a night without it. Don't wanna talk about it, don't wanna leave without it. Give me a night without it. You be like this, so call me when you know it. You gave me love too hard when you need it. Just say the word and I'll come running to you. You be like this, so call me when you know. If you find we can make it. If you mistake, it's fine. Ooh, if you find we can make it. If you mistake, it's fine. Ooh, Jules, baby. It's on a Vivi. 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 It's on a Vivi.
All right, then, we are live inside the building. This is Brekky in the Cave. Just gone 10:30 here. Out to everyone locked in so far. Out to everyone listening back on the podcast as well. You can check out the podcast via just searching Breakfast with Kovu. The interviews on either Spotify, SoundCloud, or Apple Music. We do have man like Michael Goodier on the line this morning. How are you doing, sir? You all good?
Yeah, good. Good morning, Jay. Yeah, doing all right.
Good to hear.
So everything considered?
Yeah, everything considered. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm full of energy this morning. I don't really know why or what's happened, because when I woke up this morning, I was a little bit kind of blur. You know what it is? The sleeping pattern. That's the issue at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I feel like I'm just going to sleep later and waking up earlier because I'm now back in the house with family and everyone as well. So
yeah, definitely, man. I think it's a bizarre one because obviously that people aren't getting as much exercise. People aren't necessarily like walking to and from work. This not walking as much more than anything else. I do feel it's almost like difficult to wear yourself out unless you are doing like intense exercise. But yeah, we've got loads to talk about. Obviously, we've known each other for literally going on 20 years now. I'd say something around that sort of time period.
Jesus Christ, I'm getting old.
Yeah. Literally. You know what? I saw something the other day, which made me feel extremely old. It's been 25 years since David Beckham made his Premier League debut.
Wow. Yeah.
that knocked me for six. So yeah, first of all, let's get into a bit of background about yourself. So obviously, what are you doing sort of like now work-wise?
So I'm still at the Trinity Mirror Group. So my job is a data journalist, and I work for not just the Mirror, but all of their local papers as well. So the Manchester Evening News, the Liverpool Echo are ones I'm sure you've heard of, Birmingham Mail. And my job basically is to find stories within numbers and pull out the local angles for all of those different newsrooms and turn them into articles.
Okay, so wow.
and then they'll get sent around to all of the local newsrooms, and local journalists can pick up my stories and just upload them, or they can add to them with local case studies, which normally makes a better article. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I mean, obviously, I knew you were working in journalism, but I didn't know exactly what sort of like precise area it is. That must be quite interesting, especially obviously given the local scenario, which that's not local scenario, the current scenario, which we'll get into in just a second. But like, so for instance, would give us a sort of example of how this would work, like a story, for instance, that you've kind of put together and pulled apart for different areas.
Well, so recently, of course, everything's been taken over by the one story, which is coronavirus. So I've done stuff on figures, breaking down the confirmed cases, which of course, as we all know, aren't the actual number of cases, just people that have been tested positive.
Yes.
How many people work in different jobs in your area that might be more likely to be affected by this? For example, how many people work in the restaurant industry or in the pub industry? Is another one I did. I did one recently as well involving Google Maps. So there's a bit on Google Maps that shows you how busy certain places are at certain times of the day.
Okay.
And how busy they are currently. So I basically scraped that data over a period of a week, and you could kind of see. I did it for train stations, and you could see the footfall dropping as lockdown came into effect, and I did that for train stations all across our different newsrooms.
Interesting. So more than anything, it is pretty much that thing of gathering data and making it local, which is something you almost forget about when you're kind of reading local stories. It's like, what do you find the most kind of like difficult part about this? Is it literally the actual finding of where you can get the data?
I think at first, when I first started the job, that was definitely something that was a challenge, but you kind of get to know what data's out there and what's kind of possible with what's published and what you can kind of ask for.
Okay.
The biggest challenge is probably actually just coming up with story ideas, which is the hardest part of the job. I'd say that's maybe 30% of the job is just coming up with the idea itself.
Okay.
Very ideas driven. It's although obviously with the coronavirus things, it's slightly news agenda driven, but often there's not a big story like this that's going on, and you have to kind of come up with the idea yourself and kind of dig into the numbers and see what the story is.
Definitely, man. I think as well. Obviously, when we there's a big kind of term a lot of the time we hear, which is kind of like ethical journalism in regards to like people coming up with story ideas and coming up with like essentially stories that will sell. Like obviously, when you're dealing with data, I'm assuming that's something that comes into it quite heavily.
So in terms of coming up with the ideas, I mean, it's not. Luckily, within our team, we're not that numbers driven. So a lot of stuff, I'm sure everyone will have seen journalism articles recently that are kind of designed to get clicks on social or,
of course,
or through search, and that's just now part of the business. So we'll do the odd thing. For example, crime is one that will get more hits. So we'll regularly do a sort of crime breakdown in your area. It's still based on fact. It's still numbers. It's still useful for people, but it's kind of not the more interesting stuff. But it's what people click on, and it's now part of the business of journalism. Unfortunately, maybe some people would say we now know what readers click on, and that then drives the advertising model, which kind of drives the money, which keeps people like me employed. So
definitely. So
two sides of a coin. Yeah.
How do you find kind of working within that sort of like, I don't want to say system as much, but obviously there is now like a kind of skeleton, as you said, that needs to be followed. Like, how do you find working within that?
So I mean, like as I said, within our unit, we're not particularly affected. All our ideas I rarely, pick an idea that doesn't get allowed through by my editor. And it's all really kind of driven by what data is there and what numbers we come up with. So I've not found it particularly restricting in this current role. I'm sure, and there are specific roles that within the company, like I can't think of the actual title now. Like there are a few kind of content roles and trending roles that people will specifically apply for to kind of do that. So yes, I'll have to do the odd article on, fly tipping or something.
Yeah, of course.
Potholes, but it's not really affecting me that much, I don't think.
That's good though. So let's kind of look back a little bit with this then. So how did you first sort of find yourself in this position? Like, how have you in regards to journalism? Is it something you always wanted to do?
Not really. No, I kind of never really knew what I wanted to do. So, I mean, before university, I suppose thinking about it, I've kind of been doing journalism for a long time because obviously we both did Soapbox together, and that was before I went to university. So that would have been in 2012, would it?
Yeah, I think it's around then, yeah.
And that was more music journalism, obviously, and some sort of local angle stuff as well. Kind of a weird one. Soapbox. Charlie Himes obviously came up with the idea to start some sort of blog, and then became very music focused. And but yeah, then at university, I was part of my student magazine. I edited that for my final year, actually. And kind of since then, I've thought, well, this is clearly something I can do, and I'm interested in doing. How I ended up in the data side of it, though, I'm not really sure with the numbers side, because I didn't study maths at A-level or anything. I've never been particularly mathy. I mean, I did GCSE maths, and I can kind of understand basic statistics and things. But yeah, I think that just happened because I could do some sort of I've always been all right at computers and computer coding.
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely.
So,
yeah.
So with Soapbox, I helped design the website and things like that. So maybe that's probably what's drawn me more into the data journalism side of things. But yeah.
Interesting, man. Well, it's always kind of good to hear about people's kind of roots into different jobs and different areas of not even necessarily media, but just how people get into different areas and different job roles. It's always quite interesting, I find, to kind of look back over the sort of path. Obviously, something we touched on quite briefly there was Soapbox. It's something I did want to kind of dive into. Within Soapbox now, obviously we've seen pretty much everyone who was originally involved is now doing something not necessarily completely different, but near enough everyone works in either the creative fields or media, which is quite cool to see. Do you feel that as a project really kind of spurred you on?
I think it was very important, and yeah, as you say, everyone, Miles and Charlie, both professional photographers and videographers. Max now working for big labels. Yourself, of course, completely smashing it. I think it's very important to, when you are at a young age, to just kind of, if you can, just to start doing something.
Yeah.
And it really gives you that little bit of experience, which might not seem like much now, but when you're first starting out, anything on a CV to show that you're keen and you're interested is really a bonus. Yeah, definitely,
man.
So yeah, I think it's very important.
Awesome, man. When we're kind of looking through this, then, was just this question that's literally just popped into my head, and I never thought to ask it. Did Soapbox ever pop up for you when you were going for sort of journalistic interviews to begin with?
Well, I think without, so not recently, so not my current job, but so after university, I worked with Jody, who's often on this show. He brought me into the local Brighton TV, Latest TV. Yeah. Because he was news editor there. And I think he'd only really seen my stuff before on Soapbox. So without that Soapbox, then I wouldn't have done the local TV. And I wouldn't have then thought to do a master's in journalism, probably. So, yeah, it's the steps along the way, really. Certainly.
Interesting, man. Obviously, this is now something that is your life. And I think the thing that the main sort of point of this, obviously, I'm trying to find out how the scenario we're currently in is affecting different people in different job roles. That's kind of the main focus. Obviously, this is a sort of a temporary show, but we are trying to build the channel up and build it into its own entity, so it survives almost beyond this. But what have you found have been the sort of major? I want to say firstly, major incidents for yourself in this sort of last few weeks.
So yesterday, I suppose, was a big one. The company I work for, which is Reach PLC, which is the one that owns the Mirror and all the other papers I was talking about earlier. furloughed. I think they've cut staff pay by 10%.
Okay.
So I'm now on a 10% pay cut for this month, and then they've furloughed 20% of the staff. And I originally thought that I was going to be furloughed. And I'm sure everyone's now familiar with the term furlough, which is one that I had not heard of until the last.
I won't lie, neither had I. I'd not heard of it. I thought I was under the impression it was something to do with horse racing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I thought I was originally furloughed, but because basically I'm on my notice period. I'm starting a new job actually next week. So I was under the impression they were going to furlough everyone who was on their notice period, but because I've only got this week left, I'm no longer furloughed, so I'm back in work tomorrow.
Okay.
After this day of annual leave.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like, in regards to the sort of, like, lockdown scenario then as well, something I did want to kind of touch on, obviously from a journalistic point of view, working with data and figures and stuff like that, have you found it's affected you much on a day-to-day sort of working level?
If anything, I've got busier. I'd say there's more now to do in the day. Everyone's wanting numbers, of course, and the numbers around this virus. I mean, there are a lot of them, and not all of them are great as well. It's really important when reporting to kind of caveat everything in the correct way. But yeah, there's a lot of work. My work's not changed because it was basically done from an office anyway, and I've just got now an office in my bedroom. It's just potentially got even busier. Yeah.
Interesting. Like when you say busier, then I'm assuming it means you're sort of like diving into primarily sort of like infection rate data and kind of like staffing data and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of stories that we're getting asked to do, or by local newsrooms, or we're doing. Yeah, exactly. On. So I've set up a load of maps that kind of update every day that all of our papers can use. For their local area, showing how many confirmed cases there are. I need to actually update the ones for the deaths, which is something I'm going to do tomorrow, actually, before I forget. And these generate based off the latest data.
Okay.
And things like that. And it's a fair amount of work and things, but yeah, it's certainly not calmed down at all in terms of the journalism side of things. I know that the advertising side of the business has had a massive hit. But the news obviously keeps rolling. Yeah,
I think especially with news, it's something. Well, news is something that's always going to be there. It's basically like just on a very basic level. It's what's happened in the world today more than anything else. Like sort of like long term. Then, are you thinking? Do you think journalism is something you're going to be staying in for the large part of your life? Then.
I mean, yes. I think I'm not ready to become a PR yet, which is the traditional route out of the industry. I think I'd certainly like to land a few big stories, and then I'll consider what I'll do. I imagine being a journalist for at least a good few more years, if not longer.
Interesting. Like, are you like, especially with the sort of stuff you're doing now? Obviously, you've said you're very data-based. You're very much kind of built. Your main sort of thing is kind of obviously dispersing specific information out to different places and sort of local communities more than anything else. Like, is there any sort of areas of journalism you'd like to kind of dive into before you, well, just in general, other than like sort of primarily data-based content?
Yeah. So actually, it's a weird one because people normally view the progression as going from a local to a national publication, and my next job will be for the New Statesman Group. I'm not completely sure what it's going to entail yet. It will again revolve around data, but something I've always liked the idea of is doing some local reporting. So maybe at some point in my career, it'd be good to go back to a local and do some of that, I think.
What, by that, sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. But on when that, do you mean sort of like door-to-door sort of stuff, going around sort of local areas and stuff?
Getting out of the office, speaking to people, building up local contacts. I think that's a part of journalism that I really enjoyed doing when I was at the local TV. And I have less opportunity to do that. Obviously, I still, in fact, no one can get out and about at the moment. So maybe it's less relevant now. Maybe that's why work's picking up for the data journalists potentially.
Essentially, man. I think more than anything, the thing that I'm finding interesting at the moment is the amount of people that are, well, it's to be expected to an extent, obviously, but the amount of people that are kind of like rearranging their scenario so that they can just crack on as normal.
Yeah, I wonder whether after this we'll see, people start to work from home more, whether we'll see whole industries reorganise and kind of decentralise from the office. Maybe we'll see the start of the end of the.
He's a music teacher, but he works primarily in e-teaching and like online tutorials and stuff like that. That's his like primary role. And he was saying he feels that this might actually be almost like the catalyst in pretty much breaking down that traditional model of everyone going to one central place, being in that central place for a while, and then sort of dispersing and going home and doing the rest of the work themselves. He thinks this might actually be a thing where it might actually change the fabric of primarily education, he was talking in here, but it might change the fabric of education so that there are now certain parts of education which are primarily done remotely. How do you feel about that?
I think that's an interesting one. With education, I suppose you'll have to see, how well do people learn over Skype? Is it better than the classroom? I'm not sure, but I think you'll certainly see that with certain industries, that actually there's no need to go into the office. There's no need to go into that central location. Definitely. And there'll probably be other things that will come out of this as well that are just unforeseen. Who knows if it will lead to change in behaviour. Maybe people will fly less generally, or I'm not sure. It's really hard to predict, to be honest, all of this.
Yeah, I think the thing more than anything else that people are kind of struggling with actually about the sort of current scenario is primarily that you can't really make any long-term plans. You can't predict how long you're going to be inside for. Like people are kind of dealing with stuff day to day, which is actually, I feel, something quite new to a large sort of segment of the population.
Yeah, there are obviously models that can state how, they can't state with any certainty when lockdowns should be lifted or anything. They can just give an idea, and obviously if the government did know when lockdown was going to be released according to a model, they probably wouldn't say anyway, because you'd get people leaving lockdown earlier. Because it's like,
we're nearly safe, we may as well go out now.
Exactly. And ultimately the data isn't really there yet. There's a huge lag with deaths. The number of deaths that you'll see on the official statistics are probably going to be a few days, if not weeks, out of date. And yeah, I don't know. It's really difficult to kind of predict with any certainty when this will be over. So that's something that not just journalists like myself, but politicians and people that use these numbers are obviously finding difficult. We know to some extent, we can see general trends, but it's hard to, with any certainty, kind of pick out what the exact number of people infected or the exact number of people that have died of the disease in a hospital is what a lot of the statistics are for deaths, and a lot of those won't include people that have died in care homes. So there are huge discrepancies throughout the data, and you've got to be careful with that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think that's a big thing that people are becoming quite mistrusting of more than anything else. That's what it's looking like on my sort of timelines. People are very kind of like suspicious of any information that's now being given out. Like, obviously, I don't want to throw you in it too much, but I would like to get your opinion on this, because you're someone whose opinion I do trust in regards to these sort of things. Do you feel the situation is being handled adequately?
I think that again, without the numbers, it's really difficult to say. I'm not an epidemiologist, so I don't feel comfortable really saying, definitively whether the government's taking the right steps or not. I've not been, obviously privy to those meetings. I think that if you look at the general trend, we're on the same level of Italy, kind of as Italy, roughly. And we did have a longer warning than Italy, obviously, but it's hard to really say. I don't feel comfortable really saying that as someone that's
of course,
infectious disease. So
of course, that's fair enough. I'm more than anything, I just like getting people's overall opinions of stuff on this show. You know what I mean? That's what we're here to do, to have a bit of a discussion. But yeah, man, I'll tell you what, it's been really, really good to talk, and I haven't really even had a chance to play any bangers. So I think what we'll do is we're gonna have a bit of a round off here. So in regards to sort of journalistic stuff, then this is what it's looking like for the foreseeable future. Is going to be you kind of like gathering up data, dispersing it to local things, which right now I feel is actually a very important thing, as you were saying. The kind of data is what people are interested in right now.
Yeah. Well, that's my foreseeable future in this current job, which is coming to an end at the end of this week. Then who knows? But yeah, I mean, my unit will continue doing that. My colleagues will obviously continue doing that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So in regards to like an average day for you now, then, like, how are you kind of like setting up? Do you have a routine that you're following?
I try and well, obviously I have to be in for work, and I'm still doing a 9 to 5 roughly, but it kind of blurs. I've not been maybe as disciplined as I could be. It's kind of blurring into a 9 till 6 or a 9 till 7 maybe, just because I feel like I'm slightly less productive in the day, so I have to stretch the day out a bit longer.
Definitely, I think a lot of the time as well that I'm finding with people working from home, a lot of people. Well, the thing I actually found most surprising with the majority of things is how many people are actually quite alien to the concept of working from home.
Yeah, it's something that I've done a bit before because, as I said, this job kind of lends itself to it quite well. But I've always found that I've never been very productive when I've done it, and now I have to do it. I've kind of taken some steps, so I've got a monitor, an extra spare monitor here from work, so 2 screens obviously boosts productivity, and kind of remembering to go for lunch and things like that, and going for breaks. It helps boost it, but I'm still learning, I suppose. We're all learning, I suppose.
Definitely, man. I think more than anything else, more than anything else, when this is all, I don't like saying when it's all over, but when this scenario passes and sort of society goes back into more of like a more of a case of this not being the main thing that's happening every single day. I think more than anything else, it will be interesting to look at how the projects, the things that people learn, the things that get set up during this time are then kind of worked into the normal sort of fabric of society.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it could be a great time for creativity as well. I mean, I don't know, you're obviously more into music currently. Have you noticed more people producing music? I imagine that's something that people are able to do from their rooms and things.
I'll tell you what I have noticed. I've noticed a real influx of single releases over albums. Now, what I think the reason for this is, more than anything else, is because people who produce from home will obviously have access to their home studios, but they won't necessarily have access to kind of musicians, people to do sort of like takes for them, people to do sort of like recording sessions for them. So what I'm finding is the people who have like sort of previously invested in a home setup, who know a little bit about mixing and mastering, not as much MCs, but sort of like overall musicians, are still carrying on as normal. In dance music, nothing's changed as far as I can see. Literally nothing has changed. Are you getting any track titles kind of that are related to infectious diseases or anything? You know what, I've had a couple, more so in production actually, when I've been looking around, because I've been doing a lot of like digging into what companies are giving away stuff for free. Like, I mean, Logic Pro's been made free for 90 days, same with Ableton Live. But a lot of sample pack companies are putting out packs that are called like the Lockdown or Locked In or like Locked Samples or stuff like that, which is primarily where I'm seeing it. Yeah,
the Roni sample pack.
I'm so like ethically torn over the term the Roni.
I just think yes, of course it trivializes the disease, but that's why I love it. I think you've got to have a laugh, you know. Definitely,
man. I think at the end of the day, I think that is one thing that does kind of get people through scenarios like this, is that sort of thing of, look, if you can still crack on with a moderately jovial attitude towards things, it can actually help significantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, we've pretty much run out of time here. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you this morning. What are you up to for the rest of the day? Like, what stories are bubbling away today? What data?
Well, today I'm still on annual leave because I was supposed to be visiting my brother in Paris.
Oh.
It's actually worked out that he's come back and he's now in the house. So I mean, I get to see him, but I mean, sadly, no Paris. But so I'm just taking it easy. Might go for my hour of exercise. Go for a walk, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll go to the shop. I mean, there's not much really I can do. I'll probably just browse Twitter for a few hours.
With that sort of thing, like, how much, just as a final point before we finish up, like, how many stories do you kind of like, how many stories sort of like bubble to the front of your mind purely by browsing through social media?
Not as many as you'd think. I actually get more from speaking to people, because I think talking through something you might twig, a few things. So yeah, not necessarily from social media, because it tends to be stories that other people have already done, which you don't want to then repeat.
Of course.
So yeah, although you might get an idea from somewhere that you can then maybe replicate for the locals, or you might get an idea that you can take a step further. But yeah. Not necessarily all the ideas are from social.
No, that's good though. I mean, yeah. more than anything else, I know you're someone who is quite active on socials in regards to you always seem to find like a funny story or like a funny take on things, which is something I really appreciate.
Oh well, thank you. You too. Yeah.
Right, cool. So we're gonna finish up here.
Yeah.
We're gonna finish up here. Yeah. We're gonna finish up here. Thanks for joining me this morning. What are the best social media tags for people to get you on?
So on Twitter, it's Michael Goodier, which is very boring, just my name. And that's the one I probably most use. I don't really use my Instagram or anything else, so probably just Twitter, Michael Goodier. Good stuff.
Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the day. Stay safe and all that goodness.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me on.
No worries at all, sir. We'll speak soon, yeah?
Yeah, all right.
Bless, brother. Bless. Right, massive shouts out to Michael Goodier for joining us for the last hour or so. That's been a really enjoyable conversation. It was good to catch up as well and just have like a half an hour of straight conversation about what he's involved in, journalism, and all of the kind of add-ons that the current scenario is bringing. So we're going to jump into a tune next. This one comes from Berland. It's his remix of Baba Mamoon, originally by Speaker Man Sound, which is a wicked system, and this is his very kind of like unique take on things. I'm a massive Berland fan. This one's a little bit longer, so we're going to let this one play out and kind of vibe with it as we go. As to everyone locked in right now, please do hit that subscribe button if it's your first time checking out the channel. We've got loads of stuff on the way. We're still going to be looking into the best fitness games of 2020 and a couple of other bits of news as well as they pop up. So don't go anywhere. It's Brekky in the Cave, myself, Kovu in the hot seat. We're in the building till around 11:30.
يطير الغابة بابا ميمون وابقناوة بابا ميمون يا بواب الكل وابقناوة قناوة يا قناوة يطير الغابة بابا ميمون قناوة وابلاد يا بابا ميمون يا فوق الغابة وابلاد سير وجهنا وابقنا وابلاد يا بابا يا فوق الغرب ورجال الغرب الله يسلمك
Sounds of the Berland on this one. His remix of Baba Mimoun by Speakerman Sound. Wicked tune, this one, showcasing just how good his style is. Absolutely love what Berland's doing right now. We're going to be talking about a few more things, so don't go anywhere. It's just gone 2 minutes past 11 here. Moving into the final half an hour of the show. There's loads of stuff on the way, so don't go anywhere. Wicked flavours on this one. This might be my favourite of the bunch, you know. We've got some really cool tunes in our playlisting. Different flavours every day. We're going to get into a couple of bits of Manga's new project, as well as that new Ian Campbell, John Steele and Natasha Burnett collaboration, out this Friday on Strictly Flavour. Still got some new Red Eye Hi-Fi to play as well. Hi-Fi. Red Eye Hi-Fi. Right then, how are we doing this morning? Just gone 5 minutes past 11 here. It's Brekky In The Cave. We're looking at loads of bangers, loads of bits of news. Again, a massive shout out to a man like Michael Goodier for passing through. Really enjoyable conversation with him. Really good to catch up as well. Haven't actually seen him. I think it was last Christmas. I think I saw him. But there we go. Good stuff indeed. Out to Berland on that one, of course. I'm really looking forward to seeing what sort of creations he comes up with. I know he's someone who likes to travel when he's making music. I think he was in Africa for an extended period of time over the last sort of month or so, which was quite cool to see. See him working with loads of different individual musicians, different sort of studios and stuff. I love seeing that sort of stuff more than anything else. So I'm going to jump into a bit of a story here about YouTube, which is up next. Now, obviously, YouTube more than anything else seems to be the holy grail for sort of leisure watching, for sort of tutorials. It does seem to be pretty much a holy grail of information and entertainment, which does float around on the internet as we know it today. But something which has popped up, which is making people a little bit worried about YouTube's longevity, is TikTok. Now, for me, so far, the only time I really see TikTok being much use is primarily when YouTubers react to TikTok streams. It's not something I'm necessarily that interested in myself. I don't particularly find it that entertaining. Most of the time, it's sort of people doing dance routines or like stupid stuff or like voiceovers and stuff like that. That seems to be what it is to me anyway. I may be wrong, so do forgive me if I am. But it is rapidly growing, and the subscriber base to it is growing insanely. Like the user rate on it is insanely high, and I do mean insanely high. But apparently, it's looking like they're about to face actual competition from YouTube. According to the information, YouTube is working on a new feature called Shorts, which will exist inside the mobile version of the app primarily. I don't know if it will be online as well, but we shall see. To compete with TikTok, which it is home to a number of lip-sync videos, YouTube aims to use its larger catalogue of licensed music to entice new users. Now, this is where YouTube does have the advantage. They are able to kind of go at this with a bigger budget, a bigger kind of press campaign than TikTok. Although, to be fair, I did see nothing but TikTok adverts on my phone for, I'd say, a good year and a half when it was sort of in its major growth period. All I saw were TikTok adverts, and I get it. I think more than anything else, it might be aimed at people quite a lot younger than me. I do feel that's probably the case with it. I don't particularly vibe with TikTok too much myself because I do feel I'm maybe a little bit too old to be doing a lot of the stuff on there. But it's still, and realistically, it is an amazing app. Any app that brings in a massive follower base and has a large regular use base and more than anything else provides entertainment to people is an amazing thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in any way disrespecting it in that kind of manner, but it's just not my personal cup of tea. TikTok recently hit 41 million daily active users outside of China, so YouTube is going to have a big task on its hand if it wants to dethrone the popular app. There we go, 41 million daily active users. It's a lot of people. I mean, there's definitely more on YouTube. Don't get me wrong. There's no way on earth there can't be more on YouTube. But it's interesting to look at, isn't it? It's interesting to kind of look at how different companies kind of grow and move around. So we've got a banger to play for you. This next one, garage flavors coming from, as I said before, Ian Campbell, John Steele, and Natasha Burnett. This one goes by the name of Roll the Credits. Really cool tune, this one. Again, coming from the Strictly Flavor family, one of my favourite garage labels working in and around the scene right about now. They constantly are releasing good music, and what I like about them so much is that they're stripped back. They don't have these sort of mad press campaigns. They don't have, again, these sort of almost like clickbaity things. They're not based around sort of viral videos. They're not based around any of that. They are based primarily on putting out good music and making it do exactly what it's supposed to do. They've had a really wicked run of releases, this next one being the most recent in that pile. So we're going to get into it right about now. Don't go anywhere. This is Cubcam TV. If it's your first time on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. We're absolutely loving the support we're getting right now, but we want to make sure that growth continues. And in general, we keep moving forward. You know what I mean? That's what we want. We want to make sure we are hitting as many people as possible with as much video content as possible. So there we go. Let's get into this one.
Just one more shot. Here comes another message incoming. Oh boy, is this the best you got? I think I've seen this scene before. Seen before. I know just what you mean before you even say the words. I think that we can roll the credits on this one, 'cause it's done. The story is over.
Vibey flavours on this one. New School UKG. Loving it. What more do you want? Garage and reggae in the morning. It's a perfect combination.
I think I've seen this scene before.
Campbell, John Steele and Natasha Burnett. This one, roll the credits. Out this Friday via Strictly Flavour. We're playing exclusive bangers for you this morning here on Brekky In The Cave. That's what I am talking about. So, interesting bit of news that I've just seen pop up, which I am, when you see me looking at my screens down here, I am constantly looking through for new news, which works quite well. I think I like to stay up to date with news. But here we go. Very interesting stuff. Obviously, we are all thinking very much about staying inside right now, and if you're not, I think you should be thinking about staying inside. But yeah, we're looking primarily here at news that goes beyond staying inside, news that goes beyond this world. NASA to colonize the moon with an astronaut base ready for trip to Mars. So here we go. NASA has revealed plans to set up an astronaut base on the moon as part of its Artemis mission to return to the lunar surface. The US Space Agency has set out plans to return to the moon by 2024 and wants to build the Artemis base camp to allow humans to live on the desolate surface. The habitat could be potentially located at the Shackleton crater on the moon's south pole and would allow for up to 4 astronauts to live there for a week. As the main base, NASA could also house 2 vehicles on the moon that astronauts could use to get around. The first would be used for astronauts to move themselves around the base, but the second is described as a habitable mobility platform that would be pressured and allowed astronauts to make longer trips across the moon's surface. The base and the vehicles are outlined on the 13-page report from NASA called The Plan for Sustained Lunar Exploration and Development, and explains that the Artemis astronauts could use the moon base as a staging post for the eventual mission to Mars. There we go. On Brekky, Breakfast with Kovu, a lot of the time I did find myself looking at space stories, and a lot of it was to do with sort of like theory and stuff like this. But the thing that is actually interesting about this is that there is a plan and a date that they are hitting, which they are planning on hitting, which isn't that far away. They want to be back on the moon by 2024, and I think realistically, looking into space travel is something we need to look at. You know, I mean, the planet's not going to be here forever, and I think just in general, it's interesting, it's exciting, and it's the sort of news that will make people go, oh, it's actually happening again. And I think the idea of actually traveling to Mars is the thing that makes this interesting. It's almost being used as like a services for astronauts to kind of use as they go. From the pictures I can see on the screen, I do need to find a way of getting an actual screen that shows the pictures up on screen. But it's looking like from the background of this that we can sort of see that it's looking like there's a bit of terraforming going on. There's sort of like places where people can grow food on the channel, inside the base, and it's looking like it's going to be a pretty self-sustaining kind of model with solar power units floating around everywhere. In general, it looks to be quite interesting. So there we go. Interesting news from NASA. I like to see it. It's a good thing to see in the morning. Let's get into this one next then from Red Eye Hi-Fi. This one goes by the name of Kung Fu, and this one is featuring Lady Ice. I will be joined on the show on Friday actually by Duke Sky and Red Eye Hi-Fi. We're going to have a big chat about the album, how it came together, and how a sound system is dealing with the current lockdown scenario. So don't go anywhere. It's Brekky In The Cave. Hit that subscribe button.
I wonder if I'll ever wanna call man, boom. They call me the leader like I'm Corban, yeah. He like it when I pull up and I call dad, whoa. Yeah, I can see the fire in the forecast. And when I'm turning up, I let the thing shake. Nah, I ain't really on it, so I feel fake. Nah, I wasn't really on it from the first date, whoa. And you can see my body through my fur cape. Come free. I wanna show them what the fun do. Yeah, December pretty like a full moon, girl with her legs in the air like it's kung fu. Come free. wanna show them what the fun do. Yeah, they say me pretty like a full moon, girl with her legs in the air like it's kung fu. Comfort. Me big like the O2. Yeah, they call me ice like cold fruit, girl with her legs in the air like it's kung fu.
Red Eye Hi-Fi on this one.
Said I could see it coming from a mile off. Look, eat a piece of bun and tell him wine up. Said he can put the work in for the time off. Tick my body hourglass and now your time's up. Yeah, you know I'm weird for me eating. My body pop down from the weekend. I hear me tongue blind, me not see men. Body look 6 at 4'10". Comfort. I wanna show them what the fun do. Yeah, they say me pretty like a full moon, girl with her legs in the air like it's kung fu. Comfort. Me big like the O2. Yeah, they call me ice like cold fruit, girl with her legs in the air like it's kung fu. Comfort. I wanna show them what the fun do. Yeah, they say me pretty like a full moon, girl with her legs in the air like it's kung fu. Comfort. Me big like the O2. Yeah, they call me ice like cold fruit, girl with her legs in the air like it's kung fu.
Wicked flavours on this one. Red Eye Hi-Fi. Alongside Lady Ice. As I said before, they'll be joining me on Friday. Alongside Duke Sky for Fresh Fridays whilst we look through all the new bangers. And also have a chat about sound system culture. I'm really looking forward to Friday, to be honest with you. We've got some amazing guests on the show this week. Tomorrow we're joined by Forza and Fair OK. And then on Thursday, we're going to be joined by Crafty and Duplox. So there we go. It's going to be a busy end to the week. Friday, Red Eye Hi-Fi and Duke Sky. So we've got 6 guests over the next 3 days, which is what I like to do. I like to stack shows. I like to have as many people in one place as possible and look around different topics, different ideas, bring fan bases together. That's my big thing. It's what I really, really enjoy doing more than anything else. So there we go. One final bit of news we're going to look into is this: the best fitness games of 2020, the top exercise games that are designed to make you break a sweat. Now, this comes from Tech Radar. Exercise can be boring, so sometimes it's nice to speak up your workout with a fitness game. But the fitness games that will have you breaking a sweat most and feeling the burn, the most important thing about them is to actually have fun, because otherwise they can get a bit repetitive and a little bit, trying to think of the best way to describe it, just a bit boring more than anything else. I've played fitness games before. I just couldn't really get into them, especially like Wii Sports and stuff like that. You end up just doing this the entire time. It's not really fitness, is it? But fitness games allow you to marry your gaming hobby with something that's good for your health, which you may need after we are whilst we're stuck in isolation. So this is quite an interesting one to look at. Ring Fit Adventure is marketed as a game first and an exercise second, but it'll certainly put you through your paces, apparently. This game is an action RPG that sees squatting, crunching and downward dogging as your way to success as you set out on a quest to defeat a hench bodybuilding dragon called Drago. And it's just the story mode. There are also plenty of mini games and individual workouts that you can focus on specific parts of your body with. There we go. Fitness Boxing is another one which is floating around. This one is another Nintendo design. The first one is also a Nintendo game as well. This one primarily is based around, as you can tell, sort of boxing tutorials, boxing kind of drills. Interesting stuff. Again, not necessarily my cup of tea. Next up, you have Beat Saber, which is I can't actually see where this one goes for. This is supported on a VR headset. However, primarily I think you actually need a VR headset for this one to work. It's tracked motion controllers, which are also required, and these depend on the platform you are playing on. Apparently, it's available for PS4 and PC. Beat Saber isn't marketed as a fitness game, but it sure should be. The VR rhythm game sees you ducking and dodging while swinging your arms to slice through blocks on your way to completing the game. There we go. So it's very much upper body by the looks of things, and it is I don't know if they're officially lightsabers, but it looks like you're using lightsabers. There is also a Zumba game, which I didn't realize there actually was. This is available via Nintendo Switch, and it's basically, again, VR essentially, looking into following routines, similar to how like dance mats used to be back in the day by the looks of things. I mean, Wii Sports is on this list, and I'm just not that interested in Wii Sports. I just think it's a pretty sold-out concept, and you can pretty much do everything without actually needing to exercise, which defeats the point. These games are supposed to push you into exercising rather than making you go, oh, I don't really need to, I can cheat. If you're cheating when it's just you playing, what's the point? You know what I mean? Just Dance 2020. If you prefer to get your exercise through the medium of dance, then Just Dance 2020 is just the ticket. The most recent edition of the long-running dance series includes tunes from the likes of Billie Eilish, Lil Nas X, Ariana Grande, and other modern phenomenons, which will keep you grooving for hours and build up one heck of a sweat. There we go. That's available via Nintendo Switch, as Wii as well, PS4, Xbox One, and Stadia. Knockout League. Another VR fitness game that will put you through your paces. Knockout League is an arcade-style boxing game that sees you immersing yourself in the fight. The game uses 1-1 tracking with your head and hands, so you need to make sure that you duck and dodge every punch that comes your way while some land. This one's available via PS4 and PC. Again, boxing seems to be becoming more and more popular for these games, which is quite interesting, to be honest with you. I'm enjoying seeing it. I'm not necessarily a massive boxing fan either, but I am actually quite liking the kind of like push for boxing culture to move into sort of more pop culture, and definitely YouTubers and people like that are people that have kind of set this in motion. As well as that, Box VR, another boxing one which is on this list, PS4 and PC. Sports Champions 2, another oldie, but Sports Champions 2 is essentially Sony's version of Wii Sports, the fitness game which allows you to take part in 6 activities, being skiing, tennis, boxing, golf, bowling, and archery. An unusual selection. Again, similar to the Wii, you need to use PlayStation Move Control and which will essentially make you mimic the actions of the sport. Available via PlayStation 3. Peripherals needed: PlayStation Move and PlayStation Camera. There we go. That's the full list of games available that apparently are not even designed, but are best for utilizing fitness. There we go. I'm going to play one more tune, which we'll see out the rest of the show. I want to say a massive shout out to everyone who has been locked in this morning. And again, a huge shout out to a man like Michael Goodier for passing through. It was good to have a catch up with him. As we said in the discussion, we did used to work together at Soapbox. We have worked together on other projects as well over the years, so it's always good to hear about friends doing well. You know, I mean, I'm definitely someone who likes to see his friends doing well. I like to see friends doing well in their chosen fields as well, making sure people are kind of like looking at what people are doing, looking at what they are involved in, and making sure they're following the career path they want to be doing. You know what I mean? There we go. We're going to finish up with this one from Deadly Habits. This one is Falling For You. We do actually have a live premiere coming up of a Deadly Habits tune over on 3000.co.uk on Thursday. You'll see more about that one as stuff develops. But for the time being, that's it from me. So I'm going to see you tomorrow. As I said, I will be joined by both Pharaoh K and Forza, two very prominent names in the bass scene. We're going to be looking at what they're doing to kind of aid the current scenario and music platforms in the current scenario. Also looking at new music, of course. So yeah, we're going to leave with this one. Deadly Habits forthcoming on 4:40, and I'll see you all in the morning. Don't go anywhere, guys. Keep it locked. Please do stay safe, and more than anything else, click that subscribe button, click the favorite button, leave a little comment on the video. Let us know exactly how you're feeling. If you're enjoying the shows, if you feel there could be things that are changed, do let us know. There we go. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. We are live on the Cubcam YouTube channel. We're going to finish up with this one from Deadly Habits. This one, Falling For You.
The whole reason I fell. The whole reason I fell.
Be my sunrise at 12. My wish to my will.
Be that potion, my spell. The whole reason I fell.
Be my sunrise at 12. My wish to my will.
Be that potion, my spell. The whole reason I fell. 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 The whole reason I fell.
Be my sunrise at 12. My wish to my will.
Be that potion, my spell. The whole reason I fell.
Be my sunrise at 12. My wish to my will.
Be that potion, my spell. The whole reason I fell. The whole reason I fell. The whole reason I fell.